Good evening, everybody. Welcome to League of Extraordinary Inventors. I'm your host, Mike from Fiday Research. It is Free Energy Friday. Welcome to the show. Come join the inventors tonight. It is Friday night. It is March 14th, 2025. Welcome, everybody. We got BurnEye, we got Philip, we got Lulu, and we got the Benefactor on. Welcome, everybody. I hope everybody had a good week.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
pretty. Thought I was on the top of the. I'm always in a rush, but now this week was the top of them. I have a pitch to practice tomorrow morning,
Right.
so I'm not gonna sleep, I guess.
Like you never sleep anyways.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes near the end of the show, I see you fading off there a little bit.
Yeah.
Right, he's meditating-ish, sleepish, just standing.
He's in the Fiday. He's in the Fiday. So everything he hears in his sleep, he's actually absorbing everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you say theta or the Fada? Because it's fading in without, right? It's just
no. Yeah. Exactly. They call it when you get into deep sleep, you're in Fiday. Right? There's three. Yeah, there's three spaces of sleep. So there's like three stages, and when you're in Fiday, you're in the deep sleep, and that's when you can actually have something running in the background, say like an audio book or something, and your brain will actually absorb this information even though you're asleep.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
all. That's all they got tapes that you can listen to when you sleep. They're made for that.
Yep.
If you want to learn something,
like Elon's Neuralink without the Neuralink and just programming your own subconscious.
Right. That's right. You're getting your brain into that Fiday state where your brain is still physically active. Even though that you're in a sleep, you're still active. So that's pretty interesting science right there all on its own.
Yeah.
Everybody, welcome chat. Thanks a lot for joining us. We got a really good chat session going on tonight. All our regulars are here. Welcome. It is Free Energy Friday. And I guess we're going to start off with Philip because Philip is usually right on the ball, has something for us, ready to go.
Yeah. I'm waiting all week long just for my little 20-minute speech.
Yeah.
So, all right, let me share that screen.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I always love Phil's updates. We did have Malcolm Bendel in the chat, so I don't know if he's still watching, but he might be watching.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
Shout out Malcolm, and I've been meaning to email Malcolm. I got to do that. I was thinking of it last night. I will do it before tonight is over.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Yeah. So last week I was talking about the force field as being an extension of the strong nuclear force, but I made a mistake. And I'm correcting it tonight. Although I can explain the strong nuclear force using the red curve that you see right here. That's a similar curve that explains the strong, the weak nuclear forces, and the electromagnetic force. And I wanted to harness the strong nuclear force to make a force field with it that repels projectiles coming at you. But although it's possible to extend it, the problem is you need to have the exact same opposite charge for the force field to be effective. So that means the problem is projectiles, they're not charged, or the charge is going to be very small if they get ionized. And you don't really know if it's a missile, then it's going to be bigger, and you can't really tell exactly the charge And if the charge is weak, then the repelling force is going to be weak as well. So, although that explains that explains perfectly the annihilation process, why an electron can only annihilate with a positron, why a quark with a third of a charge can only annihilate with another quark with a negative third of the charge, or 2/3 of the charge with only 2/3 of a charge. So the charges need to be exactly the same. Although it explains quantum mechanics very well, it's not very effective to use for real life force field in the military or something like that, because you need to have the exact same opposite charge, which again you can't tell what is the charge of a projectile coming at you. So as you can see here, if you have a little charge of minus 13 coulomb, then you're going to have a counter acceleration of 10 to the minus 10 meters per second square for the little projectile coming at you. So it's not going to be a strong force at all. Even if you have, for charges that are very weak. But something else you can do, the plan B, there's a backup plan here. You cannot repel projectiles, but you can slow them down using time dilation. And that's exactly what I'm going to test next week. I'm going to buy this GPS-DO global positioning system that can tell that can make that makes the difference with the local clock and the GPS clock, and it can tell the time dilation based on the difference between the two clocks. So I already bought it, but I'm still waiting for the device to get here next week. And if I get it right, I'm gonna test that next week, and I'm expecting. I'm surely expecting like a 1 times 10 to the minus 5 seconds of delta seconds. The order of magnitude of 1 times 10 to the minus 5 in fluctuations. So let's see what happens next week, and I'm going to tell you the results on next Friday. And if it works, and if it's precise, if it matches my predictions, then that means we can slow down projectiles coming at you we can slow down the speed of projectile by 50% in the 20 centimeter
Wow.
20 centimeter radius next to you, and down to 30% right at you, right on you. So, and if you that's if you have, but you need a current of 1,000,000 amps, like a million coulombs per second.
Holy cow. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
you need a pretty damn strong current, but what you can do is have a pulse current that is very intensive for a fraction of a second and keep repeating itself. So that's enough to change the speed of projectiles coming at you.
So it doesn't really need to be a constant signal, but it could be pulsed, and you can save a little energy that way.
Yeah, exactly. So because if it's constant, it's gonna drain a lot of energy very fast. But if it's pulsed, then you can use it for a longer time. And
that's amazing. 50% reduction in speed.
yeah,
Wow.
for a thousand,
That's cool, man.
million amps. So you need a million amps.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the military got stuff like that.
So if you have a 500,000 amps, it would reduce it.
And what did you say the
Sorry?
What did you say the radius was?
Radius, you need to be at 20 centimeters radius for the projectile to slow down by 50% for a million amps.
Okay. And Lulu had a question. She cut out though for a minute.
I was saying, like, so if you need 1,000,000 amps to reduce 50%, so if you have 500,000 amps, you could still reduce 25. Does that work?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you want to increase the power even more, then it's gonna reduce by down to 25%. I mean, if you a projectile that you slow down by down to 25%, it's pretty useless. It's pretty ineffective if it's not traveling that fast.
Probably, Philip, you know how you could accomplish, say, like, well, you're saying 1,000,000 amps, right? So you would need a very, very large capacitor bank, right?
Yeah.
And you would discharge it instantaneously. Possibly you could get that amount of amps. Now, rail guns, the U.S. has been experimenting with rail guns.
Yeah.
So they have a huge capacitive value of capacitors. When they discharge it, that's when the projectile goes. So it's actually feasible that you could actually do this if you have a huge capacitor bank that you could discharge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll need to. So I'm gonna do the test, and I'm gonna send. If it works, then because I got no choice because I already applied for the defense conference again. I said I can provide force field, but again I made a mistake with the strong nuclear force, and I need to correct myself very quickly. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to cancel because if my experiment doesn't work, I'm pretty sure it's gonna work.
No, Phil. Like you said, military, you have no choice. You can't cancel on them.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I don't want to disinform them if
I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
we have faith in you.
Yeah,
you are our sole Canadian research and development military.
Yeah, we have faith, and you're not being disingenuous.
Hey, Philip,
mistakes happen all the time. You'll figure it out.
We're gonna call Philip Mr. Skunk Works.
Yeah, exactly.
Bombardier Skunk for Canada.
Yeah, Phil, you're gonna have a bigger table than Lockheed Martin, and you're gonna show your stuff off,
Remember at the conference in Austin, we were right next to Lockheed, and they were watching us very
they're interested, but they don't want to show they're interested.
Their eyebrow was going up like this. Their eyebrows going. Ooh.
Yeah, they don't want to admit so, but the problem is companies like that.
Twitching. You see one of those comical scenes where they're reading the newspaper.
They want to steal the idea. You feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
They want
to steal it.
Yeah, they're thinking in the back of their head, what do these guys know?
Yeah.
So Phil, you said that your experiment involves time dilation?
Yeah.
Well, you'll get time dilation anytime you do a magnetic rotating field. Bruce de Palma, he discovered that back in 1979. All you have to do is hook up really powerful. All you have to hook up is permanent magnets that are really powerful, and spin them at like 6 to 10,000 RPM on the axis of the spin. He put an analog clock, and when he did this, the clock slowed down.
Yeah, but you can do exactly the same with the electric field as well.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's magnetic field.
Right. So basically, if Phil's experiment is successful, we might not see him for 50 years, but he'll return exactly the same age.
I'll be like dead.
I have a direct connection with the colonel. Not gonna name his name, but remember the short guy Lulu that came to talk to me at some point. He's
the bald dude.
Yeah, he's a colonel. Actually, I'm connected with him on LinkedIn. I have his email address and things, so I can shoot him important information
for the
anytime I
conference.
got it. Yeah. So.
I mean, listen, there's no harm in it. He's the one that was interested, walked up to you, and go.
He's got the hookup. Phil's got the hookup. He's got the connects.
Yeah.
Plus, I'll tell you this: Phil was one of the tallest people there. Phil's very tall. Yeah, so there's no way.
How tall are you, Philip?
6'3", but there was.
Oh, you're 6'3".
Yeah, yeah. There was a tall dude from the U.S. Navy who came to talk to me too at some point, but he didn't want to say his name. Unfortunately, I don't have. I didn't retain his contact, but he was pretty big. He looked like a football player.
You should have asked me to take a picture. We could always try to, face identity.
Yeah, that makes you wonder. That makes you wonder when somebody won't tell you their name. That's interesting.
Yeah.
usually at a conference usually most people disclose their name.
Yeah.
Okay, have you noticed even this in media? Like CNN will bring out somebody as a military spokesperson. They won't say their name. They'll come out on TV. They'll talk as if they're the responsible person, but they're just somebody up there on the camera. They won't say who they are or their name or anything like that, but they'll have all the information. And so they're called spokesmen, but no name behind them.
Spooks.
Spooks.
More like spooks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But they are interested. But I need to close a deal. The next time we're gonna say, well, give me $1 billion, I'll let you know how it works and stuff like that.
$1 billion. See, Philip's not like 200,000 or 300,000. I want
to. Oh! By the way, for real, he's right. They lie to us. They think, oh yeah, go, submit a grant for $100,000, like a grant for $100,000, or like
go for millions.
No, we're talking in the billions. And they one of the ladies pulled me aside. She's like, we have a lot of money. We're so filled with money. We don't know what to do with it. She's like, invent anything that's stupid so we can sign a contract with you. Just serious? Like that. I swear.
Who was this?
Huh?
Who was this? Who said that?
I have her contacts. I don't know. She was like, invent anything stupid. So that's what she said. Okay. I'm like what? She's like, anything military. She's like, anything that you think our United States military would need. I'm like what? She's like, anything part of their gear or anything part of their, and I'm like,
I need to talk to her.
Yeah.
Very quirky lady, very funny, like nice, good attitude. So yeah. Phil is going there next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good spot. So but then next time I want to stay longer in Texas to visit Fort Knox and all these places because I hear a lot about it. But
the empty Fort Knox.
Well, it's nice to go sightseeing, though. Especially when you have the opportunity.
There's nice places in Austin. Like there's a lake there. You didn't get to see it, but there's a lot of nice areas. And
but the food is awesome in Texas. I want to tell the restaurants.
If you like barbecue, that's the place to go.
Oh yeah, it's better than New York. It's a lot better than in New York.
Oh yeah, New York's nothing. Even like California, they had some great food down there when I was there.
Yeah.
I think Texas is probably the state with the most restaurants in it. Out of all the,
I don't doubt that for a second.
yeah, I mean, like you don't like walk like drive not even 0.1 mile and there's like 10 restaurants. Another 10, like it's just restaurants after restaurants after. You know that 15-minute city you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like here, it's between every seafood and seafood, there's another seafood. It's like, yeah.
Oh, like that's the way it is here. Like we have so many, Who did we lose? Somebody dropped off here.
Ben.
Oh, Ben dropped off.
He got mad at us again. So he left.
What do we do?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I'm like, really? Like, what nobody said anything.
Is it true that everything is big in Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how you said that.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of like food portions.
I love it.
I was thinking of food portions, and I'm like, man, like you go to a restaurant and their like plate is like this big, not like a regular. Okay, this is a regular plate.
Yeah.
Like Texas size is like three times.
Like three times
Yeah,
that size.
Like that. That's where it starts, and probably that's where it ends.
Okay, is that Ben popping back? All right. What's going on, Ben?
Computer troubles on all ends.
No, I'm okay. It's everybody.
I guess me again. Half the stream, sorry.
You guys need to use Linux, man.
Well, I actually dished out and actually bought myself a half-ass decent computer, so it's running good. So no complaints here.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the important thing with computers is to have a lot of memory. A lot. The more memory you have, the faster it runs.
Oh, I got those portable, terabyte hard drives. Every now and then, I'll just download all the stuff off the main computer onto my hard drives. That way, it frees up space on the computer. Just always have a backup, right?
Me. I have a Linux server here at home, but I have a little Mac terminal I'm using and I'm connecting remotely on the VNC to my Linux server, so I can use the processing power of my server on my remotely, so it's pretty cool. It goes tunneling through firewalls and everything, so it's pretty useful.
I see him backstage, but he's not connected though.
Yeah, Ben, it's saying your devices aren't connected, so you must have very slow bandwidth at the moment or something. Maybe restart your computer might help.
Well, like the past 2 days, everywhere they've been having internet issues. I think there was a solar flare.
Well, I know there's a lunar eclipse tonight.
It was yesterday.
Oh, last night. The blood moon.
Last night?
Yes, it was.
Night?
Yeah.
Maybe Ben is under surveillance by the CIA right now.
They got blacklisted.
We all are by the end, for sure.
I mean, like I wish they would just be like, men about it, or real people about it, and say, okay, what are you guys up to? How can we help you? You're not like obviously you're not doing something that's going to harm anybody, but how can we advance this idea for all? I wish somebody would have the I don't want to say that word, but the big enough to do that. Let's put it that way. Yeah, but nope, they're all wimps.
Yeah, they all work. They're
all wimps. They're all scared. Nobody has. Okay, I'm gonna say nobody has the balls enough to do something like that from the United States government. Everybody's so scared about their position, and they might lose their spot. But nobody cares about advancing anything. We've been stagnant for the past 50 years, if not more.
I know.
100 years. 100 years.
100 years.
Plus.
And afraid for their freedom and their lives in a lot of cases due to the NDAs and the ones that
And
were
like,
silenced by suicide and
listen,
stuff.
Yeah.
NDAs are the biggest scam, the biggest
We could do.
bullshit that they, cuff people invisibly. Those things are garbage. Like, when it comes to
Even the patents are all garbage too. They're all fixed. They're all controlled by the military-industrial complex. Any new invention, if it's energy, automatically gets screened by the military-industrial
Right,
complex.
the patent clause, the
Right.
national security patent clause,
It's
or whatever it is.
it's called Cause 114, I believe, or 113. Everything goes through the military industrial complex. If it's anything to do with energy, it's flagged, period. So the system's already rigged against you. So to go for a patent, you're wasting your money and you're wasting your time. If you want to open source the stuff, that's fine. Or there's other avenues to make money with your stuff without actually having to patent stuff. You could do copyright, you could do trademark, you could do that kind of stuff, right? There's other ways of going about it. Going through the patent office, you're basically just giving your invention to the government, and they're going to seize it on you. It happened.
This is what I heard from somebody. There's something called like patent holding companies that they get, money from the government. They buy people's patent and they sleep on it. They bought it.
They bought it and they put it on the shelf.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like Floyd Sweet, he was asked to buy out, and then he was threatened, and then he was shot at, and eventually he was killed. All right. The circumstances on his death is kind of controversial. He was probably targeted and taken out. What's his name?
Same with Stanley Meyer, right?
Stanley Meyer. Bruce De Palma, he was threatened big time. That's why he buggered off to New Zealand. He was getting threatened like crazy. He died in 1997. Another guy, Eugene Matlov from the MIT, saw all the corruption going on with the cold fusion. He was threatened and murdered in 2004. So there's a big track record of these guys that try to do the right thing, but the powers to be said no. So the world is changing now. The old world that we knew is gone. Trump stirred up the pot. The world is changing. World economics are changing. The way people will market stuff and put stuff to market. The patent thing, I think, is going to be a thing of the past. Personally, that's my opinion. Because you say you make something here in North America. Well, within a year's time, you're going to have the same product floating over China, and they're selling it like hotcakes at a third of the price. So you spend all this money on a patent, and it doesn't even protect you because China's just going to go and reproduce it anyways.
Yeah.
The patent.
They save all the R&D and the marketing efforts.
That's right.
The market study efforts, sorry.
So if you come up with a product, it's an invention, and you want to put it to market, do it without a patent, maybe get a copyright or copyright, and the other one, a trademark. Okay. And within 1 year, if you haven't made your money, go on to something else. Because after a year, the Chinese will get a hold of it. They're going to reproduce it, and that's it. You're done. You're finished. Yeah. So,
right, no one will ever get rich off of anything that is over Unity free energy, and that in order to be successful with it, you just have to open source it and give it away. And it's by doing exactly what we're doing here and just sharing things and putting it out, you're documenting the time and date that you put this idea out, so it's on record, while simultaneously preventing the law, like the government.
I partially agree with you. There's also intellectual property, okay? Stuff that that nobody else knows. And if you're willing to pay for intellectual knowledge, okay, let's get to the table, make a deal. Maybe that's the direction things are going to go. Because obviously the patent office is totally corrupted. It's all controlled by the military industrial complex. You'll spend thousands upon thousands of dollars trying to get a patent. And if it's an energy device, don't even bother, because they're not going to allow it. They're going to flag it.
They're either going to say it's impossible, it violates one of the laws of thermodynamics, which it doesn't, or they will just do that patent secrecy, call it national security, and bury it or buy you out. Either way, you'll never be able to talk about it or do anything with it.
Yeah, exactly. And the other one too is they'll put you under security order or non-disclosure agreement. A cease and desist. That's another good term that they like to use. Stuff like that. So the playing field has totally changed the way it was 30 years ago. Now, because we have the internet, now we can open source this shit and get it out there. So the average Joe Blow, if he gets all the right pieces, he can put this stuff together himself. And that's going to benefit that person. Whoever wants to get into this stuff can get into it. There's enough information on the free market right now that you can build this stuff.
People are lazy. People want something that comes in a box, with the manual.
I'm sorry to say, there's no glory for the lazy. There's no glory for the lazy. So get off your ass, learn this stuff, and start building it. Simple as that.
There are lots that have been, right? Like even you, Mike, like that's how you started out, was building Bendinis, building the M machine, building the Don Smith generator. Like you were reproducing these other people's claims that put it out and open sourced it. And it's that, like you said, there's still this intellectual property where it's like you don't have to give everything out. You don't give all your trade secrets, but you do have to give out the basic working system, right? You disclose an open source basic model, and then you withhold all the next level information and advancements that then, if you're approached by a private company or investors, that then you're able to sell or disclose, sort of thing.
Yeah. Like my Renegade device, perfect example. It is the most simplest device on the planet to make. You do not have to be a friggin' rocket science, to build this thing, okay? And it does give you over unity effects if you use the components that I've described in my videos. If you wish to change it, it is not going to work. Just like Tesla. You have to follow exactly what the creator of the invention was. If you think you know better, you don't. You follow the instructions of the original inventor. Then you can match up your results. Okay? So same thing with my Renegade device. Everybody's still using MOSFETs, which just gives me a migraine headache. Just thinking about it. Because you will not get the zero resistance effect in your device without using the spark gap switch. Period. You have to have a physical release in the spark gap. When that happens, your resistance and your current from the battery goes to zero. People don't understand this. So I've given the information. I've disclosed my whole circuit. I did a big disclosure interview with Nathan about a month ago, 2 months ago, and I explained everything. So I've totally disclosed the whole Renegade device, how it works. And, that's the thing. If you understand how the basic system works, okay, and you see the effects, now you can start tinkering with it. I've given you a good base to start with. If you have some ideas that you want to add to the circuit, hey, by all means, that's what development is. That's what R&D is. Pick up where I've left off, and carry on. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's
right. And Exactly. You can patent like the basic, right? You put one thing out open source, and then you can take another version of it, or it's in that original working state, but that it doesn't make these over claims. And one of the big things I have to point out with over unity is it's only over unity in the false definition of the second law of thermodynamics of it being a closed system, where in fact it's always an open system getting extra energy coming into your system that's giving you that over circuit unity, that over closed system energy in, right? So
that's the reason why I use the spark gap switch. When you open up the spark gap at the speed that I'm doing it, that's why my system is an open system, right? My system runs open. So if you listen to Tom Bearden, what he says, if you try to extract energy directly from the dipole, you're going to kill the dipole, right? So number one, my circuit is an open system because that spark gap switch is firing 4 times per revolution. And if your machine's running at, say, 600 or 700 RPM, basically my system is staying open. And that's why the current from my battery goes to like almost non-existent. It's in the microwatts. That's why my batteries last 6 months, right? So based on that, now you can tinker with it if you understand the concepts of what I'm doing with that switch. Now you can carry on and add stuff to it, evolve it, right?
Absolutely. And that's bang on. And that is like Tom Bearden's the dipole aspect. You don't want to break it. You don't want to have to rebuild that field constantly. You want it to be stable and then to just pulse it with that little bit of energy that then amplifies the whole system as a whole, instead of reestablishing and wasting the entire shell dipole energy field energy each time, each pass of the circuit.
Yeah, and also understanding what's happening inside the coil as well. Each and every component in my system has a specific function, right? I have an implosive inductive reactance happening in the coil. I'm creating a huge reactance field inside my coil, which goes through 2 piezoelectric transducers, barium titanate, in parallel with the coil. And that gives me a 50% gain in output voltage, which induces an even higher reactance inside the coil, which creates amps. That's where the amps are created. So, and then I dump it into a capacitor bank, and then you can do whatever the heck you want with it. You can extract off it. So, Ben, are you there?
I'm still interested on how you're going to make it into a commercial product. Like,
What,
you know,
the Renegade?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my internet, I think, is being throttled or something. And then my computer just restart like twice. So I'm having some issues. I apologize.
Use your phone in worst case.
Yeah.
Yes, that's absolutely a good idea. Thank you, Phil. So if anything happens, we will be using the phone. Thank you. I appreciate you guys' patience.
Hey, no worries. We appreciate
guys,
you being there.
I'm just gonna scoot out for a quick smoke. I'll be right back. You guys can carry on.
No worries, Mr. Mike. Ben, while we still have you there with audio, do you mind giving us a quick update what you've been working on under the theme of Free Energy Friday, good sir?
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of cool stuff today. For our celebration of Free Energy Fridays, we kicked it off with some vortex coil theory. Just some basics, how the coil works using instead of destructive interference, it uses constructive interference. So, we're going over standing waves and all those, principles behind it. So some good stuff. And then we also did a mini lab. So I kind of tried to measure the current coming out of the pickup coil, but we were unsuccessful in doing that. But only time will be the variable there until we finally crack it.
Absolutely right. Practice makes perfect, and when you're dealing with these new like energies or functions, or like capturing and converting different energy forms and frequencies than the standard grid and technology it was based off of, it's going to take time to figure out how to utilize, how to properly measure, how to properly capture and store these additional energy, right? Like,
exactly. And that's one of the reasons why actually today I have the video 0 Point Energy Solved Part 2 ? The redemption story I pushed out. It's publicly available, but the reason why I wanted to put that out there today is and push it out there today is because that comes with a phase 2 guide, and it's very important, I think, because you said you were going to start your coil projects, and I think with more people replicating what I got going on, we can all kind of contribute to cracking the system and unlocking its full potential. So it's gonna be something where we need a lot of people on it. So I have that guide out there, and you all can reach out to me if you have any questions.
appreciate it, Ben. It's awesome stuff you're doing. And have you had any luck in tracking down the Nunez's over the last couple months since you've been publishing all your work on reproducing their basic coils, or still nothing?
No, still nothing, and that's telling. I do have a working theory, and I think this is the most like the Occam's razor of the situation, because you or somebody else mentioned that it was rumored that they got sued. I think they took a shady deal with this company called Rasha, and as you see on their website, I don't think that website is run by them anymore. I think Rasha took it over because it changed immediately when the web domain expired. Literally the day after, it changed into a new website, a upgrade or whatever, and then it said products coming soon, and it said that for like 6 months. So and there's no, if they had products coming soon and a rollout, they would have social media. They were very active on Instagram and Facebook. Nothing, silent. So that is all really suspicious to me. I think that they took a shady contract with Rasha, and because Rasha is using their coils and it's linking to their website, and saying, hey, here's all the people who inspired this technology, and then Daniel Nunez is not on the list. That's all very telling. I think they got a shady contract, and then in the fine print somewhere, they said, oh, we own the technology. You can't put any videos out there. Delete all your videos, or we're going to sue you, and you can't, speak about this. Somewhere in their contract, they probably got a raw deal, and they didn't realize it.
Is there any source or paper trail behind who owns Rasha? That sounds like a government sort of spook trap.
Yeah, and they're using the technology for basically nothing that would. It's a mood enhancement therapy. It's extremely expensive. It's not made for common everyday people. Obviously, it's targeted for a very elite audience. Maybe some kind of fundraising mechanism utilizing the technology in a worthless way, basically, compared to what it should be used for, which is energy recycling. You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of like you said, like a dummy, company maybe used, to half black shelf the tech and, use the what they're using it for fundraising or something, because it's not them running the website. But, as it stands right now, we aren't using the same system. We are using the same principles, but everything I have is different in some way. And it's all open source and in the public domain, so it can't get buried again. Too many people are on this now. It's not going to get swept under the rug, no matter how hard they try. So, like it's the ball's rolling. They can't stop it at this point, in my opinion.
I was thinking of a way how they could get past that. They could say, well, they got robbed and somebody, stole their files and put it out there. It's not them.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it's like their whole YouTube channel, like all their videos got deleted. Like it's like they got purged, expunged from the whole internet, right? Like
exactly. It wasn't just calling, because literally I found a video specifically of Daniel Nunes speaking to Marco Rodin saying, I will never take down all my videos. I will always leave the core first steps up there. And all the videos are taken down. No videos are linked to his page. The only way we saw some of his videos is through other channels who kind of like, thank God they, captured some of that and saved it. Otherwise, we wouldn't know anything.
Absolutely, right? Like there's a couple of their videos that I had shared and played in some of my original YouTube streams that thank God I had, because it's like it's all I could find of those videos now.
Yeah, but to be honest, Daniel did an amazing job, in trying to get this technology out there. Unfortunately, he got caught up in some of the same traps that they all get caught up on. But I think it was like, maybe the last kind of desperate attempt for them to shut this down, and they just can't anymore. We've set it up in a way now where it's out there, and it's not the same tech, so they can't shut us down, but it's using the same principles, and you know what I mean? Like, so it's all open sourced, it's all in the public domain, and it's not going to, the cat can't get shoved back in the bag. The cat's out of the bag. You don't want to be put back in.
Right? Pandora's box has been opened, and it's just a matter now of reaching that critical mass of enough people aware of it and engaging into it that it just becomes common knowledge and we move forward.
Exactly. It's what they call the threshold effect, right? That critical threshold.
Yeah.
Just don't get your channel shadow banned, Mike, so we can.
Yeah.
Well, and
I've been shadow banned for 2 years now. They have kept me at exactly 9,500 subscribers for 2 years straight. They will not let me reach 10,000. But hey, we're still here and about getting the information out.
And that's why networking is key. So they can't shadow ban everybody. You can shadow ban you, but if you come onto my show and I'm not shadow banned, that helps that networking, the community, the collectivist aspect of it. So it's a team effort. And at the end of the day, there's more of us than there are of them. And I'm sorry, we're gonna effing win. We're gonna get this out there, and we're gonna do it as a team. Like it needs to be done, and everybody has their critical role to play. And nobody is wasting time here. Everybody's doing something important that needs to be done.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to put my little 2 cents in. So everybody knows I've been working on graphene. I'm manufacturing my own graphene. So that's going really good. So here's some figures for you. Some research indicates that graphene-based batteries can achieve energy densities around 1,000 watt hours per kilo. That's 2.2 pounds, okay? Which is significantly higher than the current lithium-ion battery, which is 250 watt hours per kilo. So the energy density of this graphene is way off the charts compared to our present technology with, say, lithium ion, right? So 1,000 watt hours per kilo. So the graphene that I manufactured so far, I got it down to about 100 ohms, and hopefully I'll get it much lower. So yeah, it's I actually have looked into actually putting this graphene into an inkjet and now I can print circuit boards.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Right? I can print batteries. I can make the actual design of the battery and print it out in layers.
Sweet. That's pretty
So
cool.
That's really cool. Printing out a battery. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's going to be huge.
And
so I got the recipe how to do it. So I'll be working on that soon.
So sorry, can you print graphene
Yep. Like a
3D print it, sort of.
Well, you could what you would do, like say in 3D printing, you would print your model in plastic, right? And then after it's done, you take the graphene and you put it in an airbrush. And then you airbrush your parts in the graphene. So if you have parts that you want to have conductive, you can do it like this now, which is really, really cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I need to trade you some of my monoatomics for some of your graphene, as the graphene, the key part of reaching the low energy nuclear reactions, especially on the electrodes with supersaturating it, where it has a higher production rate and absorption of both tritium and deuterium off the electrolysis, off the electrodes. When you have that graphene, what's the word? The layer lattice, the graphene lattice connected to the outside layer of the electrode.
So you can make graphene electrodes and do your electrolysis that way, which is going to be a lot more efficient. So now you can do electrolysis for probably a third of the amount of watt hours needed. So you can even you can make graphene pretty much from anything. I've seen guys do it with sugar, okay, charcoal, pretty much anything. Everything, most things that exist is made from carbon. You could crush up burnt wood. That's carbon as well. So,
charcoal.
Charcoal's a good one. Lava rock. I'm using pure graphite mesh 600, and I'm getting excellent results. So, the way I'm doing it, I'm using ultrasonic exfoliation. Very easy process. You can use methanol, you can use isopropyl alcohol as your dispersants. Just a couple examples. So you would put 75% isopropyl alcohol, 25% water, put about 3 scoops of graphite into the jar, and then put it into your ultrasonic cleaner and hit it for about 48 hours. And you'll have pure graphite. And I found the other additive that I have to put in it so I can make printable electronics. So I found that material. I've got some. I'm going to experiment with that this week coming up. And then the last step, we'll get it into an inkjet and try to print batteries. So
just a little question like that. If you were to print a electronic board but using graphene, then it's not going to heat up. Obviously, it's
got great thermal properties. You could use it as protection for your CPU chips. You can put this stuff into a paste and actually put it on your circuit boards to keep it cool.
That's awesome.
It has thermoelectric properties, so you can have an anode and cathode. One side heat up while the other side cools off, kind of like the Peltier effect. It just opens the door. Oh, also too, if you get a right formula, you can put that graphene into your wax that you wax your car, and now you got a protective graphene layer that'll protect your car paint and your enamel on your paint job. So this would be really cool stuff. I have graphene in a spray. It's a graphene oxide, and you put that on your car to protect your car's paint job.
Nice.
So as soon as the weather gets a little better, I'm gonna do that to my car and see how it turns out.
Nice. So is it gonna stick there for a long time, or?
They say you should do it once every 6 months. You could probably get a year out of it.
Yeah.
Um, to buy this stuff, is about $50 a bottle, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Some of them I've seen as high as $150 a bottle. The spray. So the one I have, I'll try it out and see how it works. I think it'll do really well and protect the paint job on your car. So it's also got extreme strength properties at the nanoscale, 1 molecule thick in the lattice structure. Graphene's been known to exhibit about 50 tons of pressure, and it can hold it. So graphene's extremely powerful, way stronger than steel.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely a wonder material, really is. Problem is, industry, they haven't really got to the point of like mass production of it, and that's the problem. Everybody says, oh, it's really hard to make, and well, I'm making it right now, and it's not very hard to make. So it just takes
Yeah,
a
I
little bit.
know. I know. I'm surprised. Probably some guy is gonna boost the productivity of that, but it takes some time, I guess. Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't need industry to make it. Any Joe Blow at home can make it themselves. Just get a really good ultrasonic cleaner, get your graphite, put it in there, do the mix that I said, and within a couple of days, you got graphene. So, yeah.
I never asked this. Compared to other stuff that's in the market, the battery itself, the weight, the overall weight,
Right.
is yours lighter or heavier?
Oh, mine's featherweight. Mine weighs hardly anything.
Okay, because we never ever talk about that part, because that's kind of important,
So as soon as you get like into lithium and nickel and copper and all these other heavy metals, lead acid batteries, they're heavy, man. They weigh 50 pounds, right? So, like energy density per weight, graphene is 1,000 watt hours per kilo, and the best lithium battery is only 250 watt hours per kilo. So it's got 3 times the energy density, 3 times more. So for making batteries for cars, that's exactly what you want. You want to be able to have as much power in that car as possible without weighing much.
And it's a lot less dangerous too.
Sure. Yep. Non-flammable. Graphene's non-flammable material. It's stable. It's environmentally friendly. The list just goes on and on. So, and it can be used in so many applications. Like you could take this stuff and put it in styrofoam, and now you got styrofoam that's stronger than steel.
Well, why isn't Musk using it,
Who knows what's going on behind closed doors? Even in cement.
And you said it's stronger than steel, so
Yeah.
you can make buildings.
Sure. Most definitely. You add that graphene to a cement, that cement's not going to break too easy. It's going to be super strong. Super, super strong.
That's awesome.
Even armor for tanks. Could you have graphene lined, armor plating?
Yeah, I never understood why they don't have that yet. Like, soldiers, you just shoot at them and they die, but they should have like some shield.
Graphene exoskeletons and vests, right?
Yep. Well, graphene is super light, super, super strong. It's just a matter of developing that technology and putting it into practice.
Jeremiah and Mike does. I sent you guys the links if you want to hop on and join in and give some updates. Jeremiah was saying can also get same results with the sonic bath. And not sure
that's what I'm
if
doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, ultrasonic exfoliation.
Yeah, so last night, Jeremiah joined me for the last half hour of my stream, and he was explaining, going over, and showing his results with an ultrasonic bath on distilled water and aluminum, and that he was getting iron sphericals transmutating out of the aluminum and getting this actual real transmutation of aluminum into iron, as well as some other elements as well in that reaction, strictly from the sonic process.
He can convert a metal into another one.
Yeah, he was getting the results of literally aluminum transmutating into iron, where it was straight up showing that whatever, he hasn't had it fully tested yet, but with the magnet from the pure aluminum, the little sphericals that are now black and dark were straight magnetic, and some were acting diamagnetic as well. It was quite spectacular.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, just the sonic or acoustic.
Jeremiah was saying about the sonic probe. He's correct. Yeah, the sonic probe is better, but a good sonic probe is like over $1,000. But I was actually looking into making my own sonic probe, so I have the transducer to do it, and apparently these sonic cleaners, they run at 20 kilohertz. So yeah, I'm gonna dabble with that because I have a really good piezo transducer I could probably do that with.
See, that's what I need next, is that ability and that equipment to add that the acoustic waves into my electrolysis reactions, and specifically into the specific fields created with the coils. That's
It'll create a good cavitation. Like even like when I just have the water in the ultrasonic cleaner, when you turn it on, you can see the cavitation of the water. It almost looks like the water starts creating a vortex in it. It's really cool. So yeah, like if you're doing electrolysis and you have do your electrolysis in an ultrasonic cleaner at the same time.
Oh, exactly.
So you're going to get the cavitation going on. That could increase your effects of transmutation.
Oh, exponentially, and especially when you get the right resonant frequencies of the two base element metals that you're using in your anode and cathode, and the third resonant frequency of what you're aiming to transmutate it to.
Does it stay? Does it stay transmuted, or does it go back to its original after you stop the electrolysis?
The vast majority of what I've created stays in a stable state, although the couple times that I believe I actually got tungsten to form a bit of gold on its outside shell, it's broke down and oxidized into oxidized tungsten over a period of a few months. Very good question, Lulu. But,
so you create gold with tungsten?
Yes, sir. As
Oh,
all
nice.
you need, the atomic mass is just one below gold when you're working with tungsten, and then through electrolysis, you're creating atomic hydrogen. You get the tungsten into the alchemical transmutational red and crystal state that Isaac Newton talks about, and it literally turns into like this jelly on the inside and crystal reflecting light lattice on the outside. And when you have it in that state, I am proposing that the atomic hydrogen that's then being produced from the electrolysis itself will, when you're blasting it with the resonant frequency of gold itself into that tungsten, the atomic hydrogen will fuse in with the tungsten and come out as gold.
Yeah, it's too bad tungsten is more expensive than gold. So
So there you go.
yeah.
That's sad.
Well, if you
Crypto
use it,
Alchemist, his mind
I've
a
seen
river
guys-
with endless wisdom to dip.
I've seen guys use that tungsten in a Moxie generator.
But
And especially when you have graphene lattice on the outside of it, becomes more reactive.
yeah, tungsten is a very cool metal. I need to use it at some point, but I'm just using the cheaper zirconium for my liquid metal vortex because it's not affected by a magnetic field. But zirconium is oxidizing with gallium if it's in contact for too long, but not with tungsten. So I need to get tungsten at some point, but it's very expensive.
This stuff can get
Yeah.
really
All the metals are, right? Like, as is gallium, as is
They use
mercury.
tungsten in medical equipment a lot. That metal, like
Yeah.
the
Medical
it's
and aerospace.
no, like
Medical and
the
aerospace.
the like the what do they call them? Yeah, my brain's not working today. Sorry. The medical equipment for surgeries, is that made out of tungsten metal, like the little,
Tungsten, stainless steel, stuff like that.
but it's not
Not great.
tungsten.
They could for some stuff like, say, like hips and hip joints and stuff like that.
I'm asking this because if this is inexpensive, a lot of hospitals, like, they throw a lot of this stuff out. It's garbage. But if it's good metals,
bio waste.
huh? Yeah.
Like
So
bio
you-
waste. Yeah, you just have to sanitize it, right? I don't know if you can get a hold of it, but yeah,
You
if you
can
could, if you
talk to
sanitize it.
somebody.
Wow.
And then you could get as much as you want of whatever you want. I mean, they're throwing it away.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Wow. If you can get a hold of somebody who who has that kind of connection, that'd be a really good way to get some of that precious metal.
Who's Mr. Linnaeus? He keeps complaining about bullshit. In the chat.
Right? Well, we apparently have a real Rosicrucian initiate into alchemy, and good for you, Mr. Lanius. I would like to discuss, privately, but any actual initiated individual would not openly disclose initiated knowledge to the public like you're trying to claim. But anyways.
I'm sorry, I got cut off. I didn't hear what you said. You guys were saying.
It has to do with being taught by the secret societies. I was initiated into the Freemasons, but only to the first degree because I did not agree to sell my soul and pledge my soul to another entity, and that's why I'm able to speak freely on what I discovered, discern, and work on.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. Do you have any live streams where you talk about that? I'm interested in learning more.
Yes, sir.
Well,
definitely send me some links. I'd like to learn more about that because I don't know nothing about that. I was actually invited to the Freemasons, but I didn't have a job at the time, so I couldn't pay for the monthly fee. This was years ago.
Is anybody accepted, or you need to be rich to?
It ain't cheap,
Well, it wasn't
and you just
expensive.
need a sponsor. They usually, as long as you don't have a criminal record, you have a positive intent, and I believe anyone is able to, but it usually does help if you have a someone in your bloodline, like a relative that was a member at some point. But I'm pretty sure these days anyone's able to join.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it wasn't that expensive. It just, I didn't have any income at the time, so it was like it stopped there. I didn't, I did the one interview and I didn't pursue it, so I don't really know that much about the Freemasons.
Yeah.
I can tell you about the Sisters of the Nile. I was invited to that one. That's a woman secret clubs called the Sisters of the Nile.
I never heard of that one. That's new to me.
Yeah,
that's new to me too. I never heard that one.
Ouais.
But
Did
that's what it's
you
called.
guys know? Did you guys know that Einstein was a Mason?
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know
did
that.
know. Yeah, he was a Mason.
Yeah. So they got a network of contacts, internal network of contacts, and they have their agenda.
Man, I know so many
It's like-
Freemasons, like so many. Most of them are like physicians and the lawyers. So
Yeah, a friend of mine from high school is a Mason. No, he tried to lure me into it, but it didn't really work.
They got people everywhere.
like I don't know. Here in Houston, they're lame. Like I've heard, like very lame. Like they don't, they sit around and just talk about nonsense. They don't do anything. It's like a boys club.
Boys club.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I experienced.
Yeah.
It was a Zionist boys club, which kind of turned me off as well.
Yeah, and honestly, if they're not working towards like bettering humanity in some way for like everybody, like there's no real point in having a big secret society like that. It's like we're doing better work here.
There's a lodge literally less than half a mile away from my house. It's like a little building, it looks like a shack, honestly.
My understanding is their link with the Illuminati and the big banks and the elites and people like that. Unfortunately, these people they don't want innovation because innovation goes against their agenda of just indebting us, putting us in debt. That's all the banks care about. They want us to be in debt because we pay interest. It's free money for them when we pay interest of our deficit. So
it's an invisible slavery system. It's an invisible slavery.
It's free money.
Yeah, it's imprisonment. Yeah, it's basically imprisonment. Like they want to keep us in a cycle of debt and consumption. So
and innovation goes against that, so that's why they don't like innovation. It's really simple.
Yeah, it goes against the profit model. It's almost like the same, like the pharmaceutical companies. Was it Johnson & Johnson came out in their private conference and said, yeah, we're not in the business of, curing anybody because it doesn't, have repeat business in that model. So
exactly.
So there's a picture of young Bernie with short hair in the lodge. Wow. And yes,
how old are you there?
I was late 20s, I believe. Oops, wrong way. But
that's awesome.
And they offered for me to join the research lodge, which as only a level 1 was quite rare, but they were very into my alchemy research even back then. But yeah, I stepped away and got, I don't know. It was
you look like you're the youngest one.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I was at that point.
It had to have been like refreshing, because so many people like dismiss this type of thing. I'm sure you get like dismissed all the time, and then here you have somebody who's actually accepting you. So that's got to be nice.
Yeah, it was like Lulu was saying, it was more just like this old man's boys club and like just like group of guys hanging out that had a bunch of
Did you
like
have
money and stuff. And then it was like I actually went into the libraries and was like reading all of these like hundreds of year old books on alchemy, on like resets, where they literally talk about resets and not surviving and who's going to survive and all this different crazy stuff. But especially the alchemy knowledge was just amazing. And that like nobody else, there was like lifelong members, 32 degrees. One guy was 33 third, and like none of them had any clue of any of this information, nor did they care to. Like it just wasn't an interesting or an interest
So
to any of them.
was
And
it in
yeah.
a situation where they had access to it, they just didn't care?
Yeah, oh
Is
yeah,
that what you're
exactly.
saying? Yeah.
Yeah, like no
Wow.
one would actually
Hmm.
go into the library and take books out, read it, or pursue anything like that.
they weren't like a
You
real
know,
Yeah.
serious piece?
usually these societies, if you start to shine, they get angry at you, and one of them might come out to you and tell you you can't outshine the master. You understand? Like
Mm,
there are
yeah.
levels to these things. You can't outbeat them intellectually, because then you're a threat. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. No, that makes
So
sense though. That makes
yeah.
sense. You're a threat to the hierarchy.
It's a religion of knowledge, right?
Yeah, but
You
it's
know,
all secret. Just
Absolutely.
put it in a secret way. You can't divulge their secret information.
If they're not like Bernie said, if they're not interested in actually learning and applying that, they're just hoarding knowledge at that point. You know what I mean?
yeah, it
And it's
could
kind
be.
of sad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but at the same time, I never made it to the third degree Master Mason and above, where you actually get initiated into the rituals and the interaction with the interdimensional uh, being that they all swear their souls to, which was just something I wasn't down for.
Yeah. Did
Yeah, that
did you
doesn't
know
seem
that?
like that part either.
Did you know that our friend Nobel, the founder of the Nobel Prize, was a Mason too?
Oh
And
yeah, many,
yeah,
so
so
many.
he had an agenda of well, whatever his agenda is for me it's misleading. That it's intentionally misleading. One thing I'm wondering, Einstein's bullshit, is bullshit on the general relativity. I'm wondering if it's intentional or if it's intentional or just
he
Absolutely.
was a
A mistake.
plagiarist.
No, I
Einstein
was
was
wondering the
nothing
same
but
thing, Phil.
he was a plagiarist.
yeah. He clearly was a plagiarist, but I'm wondering if it's if he intentionally misinformed people with his bullshit of general
Right.
relativity
Yeah,
um,
Yeah.
to
No, I
to
wondered the same
mislead
thing.
to
100% they did.
for sure
to
it was.
to mislead the population for 100 years.
For sure,
Yeah.
exactly.
Wow.
Yes.
Phil, like, okay, I caught this. There's a little elements table, not the one that I showed you earlier, but I had another one, and this was, I don't know how many millions of these elements table was printed and distributed to the schools, like school districts, as a teaching tool. There was a mistake on it, and I caught the mistake. Called the company, but this mistake has been going on for like 20 years, because it shows you the original, like, when the thing was printed, like when it was made. I went to one of the NASA, they invited me for one of their vendors, the materials that they were using for inside of the rockets, and
Metamaterials.
and so there was one of the ladies there, and when I have a point, I have my bag and I put all my stuff in it, and if it's something, I took the whole thing. And I went up there and I'm like, you know what, you guys promote science, but the fundamental thing about like the elements and the atomic numbers, you're teaching the public wrong. And you
Yeah.
know what she answered me? She was like, how do you know? What makes you think we're teaching the public wrong? What if we're looking for that one in a billion that catches the mistakes that we've put in intentionally.
Yeah.
Wow. That is actually, that makes a lot of sense, though. Holy,
You know,
I want to
just
curse.
and it's like they intentionally put incorrect information to see who actually catches it. They don't care about the ones that learn it wrong.
Yeah.
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 No, that is a damning analysis. Wow.
That kind of blows the lid off the whole thing, right there. Very good example, Lily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this was what I was told, and how do you argue with that? What do you say to that?
She's
I'm
right.
sorry. Yeah, she actually told you that. Wow.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
insane.
Oh, yeah. Flat out.
That's insane.
Yeah. She left me with no words. I'm like, okay. No, I don't know what else to say after that. Like,
Yeah,
what?
what do you follow up with that?
I know.
All you can do is say, wow. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Like, damn, I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah.
Okay, on a different note, I found something in mythology, a personality that taught Socrates his philosophy, and it was a woman.
Oh.
Her name is Aspasia.
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 Aspasia. Aspasa. Aspasia.
Okay.
Did it come up? Did anybody look it up? Okay, this woman has been hidden from all history books, but she was a greater philosopher than Socrates.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what year she lived?
I'm sorry?
What century she lived?
Socrates' time. She was his mentor.
Oh, so okay. Socrates in French, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I say? Behind every great man, there's an even better woman.
Yeah.
So, but this all leads to the whole Masons and the patriarchal society, like how our system that we live in, it's not the fair system. It doesn't, give proper credits to, like people in history. I was reading that and it just flipped my mind. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like nobody talks about this person. But yeah, she was one of his mentors. So. Think of that.
The Nobel Committee, they clearly are highly corrupted. Back in the Einstein days, they didn't want to give Einstein's wife the Nobel Prize because she's the one who wrote all the papers of Einstein.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep.
And it's still the same thing these days. They don't. If you listen to Sabine Hossenfelder and the other woman, I forgot her name, that do podcasts. She has a PhD, and they keep saying, they told them right off the bat that Sabine has she has no future in the academia just because she's a woman. They told her right.
She's exposing them one by one. Have you seen her latest video? She's calling them out one by one.
I know. It's highly corrupted, and they use the high energy physics. Did you see the latest video I posted last week about the high energy physics? There's a PhD who claims
the fraud, all the fraud,
about the fraud.
She's like, Doge, you need to investigate this and get all the fraud out of CERN, and it's all fraud. I
posted it on the Dodge website. Actually, you cannot post it, but you can apply for a job. So I applied for a job, and I said this is not a job application. This is to report this fraud. So I know they're alert now. They're on track with that. So they're gonna defund all the bullshit. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too, because hopefully they'll finally be able to afford and give funding to real science and engineers like all of us, actual inventors.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
And
by the way, Bernie, I saw part of the interview you had with what's his name, Salvatore Pius.
oh yes, sir.
Yeah, he wants to do a debate. Actually, his super force is just the Planck linear energy density. That's all it is. It's c square divided by g times c square. So that's the Planck linear energy density. That's not really. It's there. It's definitely there. But I mean, it's an ambient energy we're in right now in the solar system.
Okay,
Hey, Jarvis.
I'm just gonna say I was born into like secret societies, so don't give me anything about Masons. Masons are stupid, and
Yeah,
I
I
agree
am
with
well
that.
aware. Actual
Okay, let me
occupations are
ask you,
way
Bernie.
higher
Let
up.
me ask you, Bernie. Have you traveled? Let me just ask you that. If you say you're in the Masons, you
No,
should
I
be able
said
to
I
answer.
only made it
Hey,
to a
answer
first
that. If
degree.
you're a Mason,
Are you gonna
if
listen
you were
to what
ever
I'm-
initiated.
Okay, I muted you for a minute so I can answer your first question, which was I stated I only made it to the first degree and I found it way too Zionist, and I never made it to the third degree of a Master Mason, thus never fully got in. But I did spend a year in the lodges, going to meetings and reading the library of all the books.
I don't know what's up when I know it's up, and you can't answer a simple like from the first degree. You should be able to answer that. I'm just saying, if you're a true Mason, and I'm not even a Mason, and I'm just sick of fucking posers. Okay, I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of all this bullshit. People talk like they know stuff, and you don't know, man. Like, what's the hand?
Well, let us know. Tell us
I mean, if you
all
want me
about
to
the
call
hand.
you out, I will. And I don't want to be like this, but I'm
There's
sick.
literally like 10 pages worth of information on the hand and the different symbols and
What's
how
what's the index?
the index is vitriol, I believe.
What's the thumb?
That's saltpeter.
What's the pinky?
I can't call off the top of my head the fifth salt.
Look, I'm just saying, I've honestly been initiated into this, and I can help you if you really want to know.
That's cool. I would
Don't
love
say
to
that
know.
I don't know my shit because I know my shit. Like I'm honest to God from a 30.
No one has said you don't know anything. You're the one saying everyone else is an imposter.
Yeah,
Please share your knowledge. We're
yeah,
all here to
I'm
learn.
here to share it, but like, don't pretend like you know when you don't know. And it's so much bullshit going on. Like, I'm just gonna go to Rumble because on search terms with Rumble, there's not all this bullshit. Like, YouTube's just full of fucking bullshit. Every time you look up free energy, and free energy is not even what it is. People don't even get what it is. But at least on Rumble, it's not full of all those search terms. That's just diluted with millions of views, and then people like us that are real engineers get suppressed, because all this bullshit on YouTube. I'm just so sick of it.
Well aware.
I'm so
We're
sick
on
of
the
hearing
same
people
side
saying
with
that they know what they know and they don't fucking know it, and I'm just I just gotta let that go. I've reached a crescendo, and I'm gonna call it out the way it is.
Well, please share what we are all missing.
What you want to know?
You have the stage. You're saying you're calling it out. Call out what we're all missing.
You want to know on alchemy? You have to be an apprentice, bro.
Okay, for the self-initiated, like, are you gonna give us this information or no?
I will give it to you personally, me and you.
That's exactly what I said off the get-go. is anyone that is initiated is not just going to put out initiated information into the public to the uninitiated, and now you're stating the exact same thing.
No, I'm saying I will apprentice.
All right then.
Well, we're kind of getting off track here, guys. We're here on this platform to share ideas and stuff like that. But, to start calling people out and stuff like that, that's fine to a point. But we have to stay to what we're doing here on the show. We're sharing ideas, concepts.
Bernie, if you want to be an alchemist, I can teach you alchemy. But you can't.
Clearly, you have not.
Clearly, what? That's fine. It's okay.
Give us the basics.
I can give you basics,
guys. It's fine to disagree, and stuff like this should be done offline. Obviously, there's a conversation for you two to do offline. Right now on this platform, let's keep to what we're doing. We want to respect everybody's time, what they have to say, regardless if you think it's wrong or right. If you think it's wrong, that's fine.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be, but I was born, people don't believe me, but I literally have 4 saints in my family history. The Catholic religion, saints. And I'm deep into this stuff. I'm deep. And when I see bullshit, I have to call it out, man.
That's fine. Sorry. That's fine. If you don't agree, if you don't see, this is the great thing about the internet. If you don't like what you see and you don't agree with it, okay, it's okay to talk to those people that you don't agree with in a private setting. But we're here on a forum with all of us together. You know what I mean?
I agree. I'm sorry. I just had rough days. It's been really tough.
That's fine. I understand that. Everybody has a word.
Sorry, okay? Bernie. I really do love you, man. And I will apprentice you if you really want to know the true shit, man. I will do that.
I am open to learning all information and would love to know what you have to share.
I'll hit you back channel. I'm not trying to be like that. I'm trying to help, but I also need to call out bullshit when I smell it.
So what are you saying is bullshit?
Okay, do you travel?
What does that have to do with anything? And yes, I've
done a first degree Mason and that's just masonry, would know how to answer that.
Yeah, like I said, I quit. I'm not a Mason. I'm a self-initiated.
I'm not a Mason either. I'm not. I'm just saying, I'm aware of all of the lingo and how to tell if somebody's in this or not. You know what I mean? And I want to help you. You know what I mean?
I'm asking for your actual alchemical knowledge, not how to do handshakes verbally.
Well, that's just the first question that you learn as a Mason, is all I'm saying.
Right.
The answer, I'll tell you publicly, when somebody asks you if you want to travel as a first degree Mason, you say through the darkness and into the light is the answer. Okay.
There's a bit more. There's a couple more sentences about directions as well, but yes.
Okay, so we're kind of steering away from what we're really here for. Obviously, that is another show all in its own. Let's try to keep it on topic.
Yeah, I agree.
Stuff, right? Because then we're just going to go back and forth like this, and we're going to be running blind, right?
I'm sorry. No,
it's okay. It's okay. This obviously is going to continue with you two offline and conversing and sharing ideas.
Yeah, dude, I got a cryptocurrency idea for you, bro. So I really like you, bro. And I'm not trying to bash on you. I'm just trying to be real, man. I am in this shit. I am, and I will. I have no problem. I have no problem apprenticing, and it's not masonry; it's Rosicrucianism.
If you use the F word, we might get shadow banned. That's the problem.
I was about to say, true Masons use proper language, no F-bombs, in the middle of the.
I'm not a Mason. I'm not a
Well,
Mason. I've been saying that this whole time. I'm not.
That's okay.
I'm not a Mason.
All right, guys. Okay, let's get back on track. So
Yeah, give us your thoughts on real free energy. You're saying we weren't explaining it right. Can you share some insight on that?
There we go. Let's start there.
All right. I feel like I've done 20 years at least worth of research. I live in a shithole, dust-filled place because I've literally invested into trying to help humanity with what I have. And I'm waiting for the iron to be hot before I strike. And I'm about to strike. And I have a patent. And off that patent, all you got to do is have a positive and negative monopole and you can spin a motor. Yep. And I'm not making any claims. Okay, but that's just the first step. I mean, yeah. And there's a strategic way I'm going to drop these breadcrumbs, but I can't just disclose everything at once.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Like I went little by little, and as I was going, I was learning at the same time. I went in with a non-bias attitude. That's very key.
Right. I was playing with dude, one day we're gonna go live like the you probably can't hear it, but do you hear that? It's the intro song to Old Man Build.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're the one playing the song?
Yeah, we're gonna play it live one day. We'll rehearse it and then play it live.
Nice.
So
it's like the Titantron, when in the WWE.
Yeah, and I know I was trolling. I just want to call. I know I'm trolling, and I'm sorry, but I just come to the crescendo, if you will. Like I really want true information to come out, and then there's so much bullshit, and nobody really knows where to start. And I really want to start like us together, starting a true platform where people can start and get a good going. So much just okay, like million views on like some little magnet, and like people that are engineers know it's bullshit, but they get millions of views, and then people that are really trying to disclose this like us get very little views. What I mean?
And that's
it's obvious
how they want it. Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty funny, huh? Like the Gravity Flyer guy. I wonder how he got so many views.
I know
we got a lot more important information on your shows, and we have like a fraction of his views.
It just it drives me crazy after a point. Like I'm trying to be cool with it and everything, but like sometimes you got to break and just be like, look, this is bullshit. This is what you should study. And Mike Fiday has a good platform. Old Man Bills has a good platform. Like everybody that participates on those two shows really has a good grasp on things. Yeah. But when it comes to all the bullshit in the internet, it just weeds it out and they get all the views.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's just, it makes me angry,
Yeah, I knew this a long time ago, but you have to block that out. You have to block that out, and you have to do your thing. Do your thing. Get it out there. Don't worry about all the distractions.
But that's what in order to weed it out, we have to start calling it out. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we do.
And I know it sounds harsh, and I'm not trying to be an asshole, but this episode I am. But I'm being the devil's advocate, and I'm just saying I'm sick of it. And like, let's really do what we're saying, and like, let's really make it happen because we can.
Yeah, I got sick a long time ago when I initially started debating on Cosmo Quest, and I wanted science to move forward, and they all tried to bury me and silence me, and nobody was very constructive. And
academia is brutal, man. Academia is brutal. I've been in it.
It's a religion. It's a religion.
It is.
So,
I mean, but what's not?
Yeah, as soon as you say Einstein was wrong, they all want to kill you and backstab you and stuff like that. And I got pissed off many times, but you cannot get pissed off because you fall into a trap, and they want you to fall into that trap. It's a trap you fall into, and you become a victim. You're gonna get blacklisted.
If I may say something about the Rosicrucian order that's up here, I'm in Atlanta, so it's like a hot spot for Rosicrucians. Like, it's really like the center of Rosicrucians. And if you're interested in Rosicrucians, study the Lion. And that's all I'll say about that right now.
I have
but
no idea what that is.
Yeah,
like like with me, if I don't know something, I'll tell you straight up. I have no freaking idea what you're talking about.
Since when Mike doesn't know something,
yeah,
he knows everything. Every time you talk about something, he's gonna bring
I was born into it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I literally have 4 saints in the Catholic religion. I have 4 saints in my lineage. So, and Jarvis has been known as the AI of Iron Man. So the Jarvis name is known. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be, but I really do. I know this shit, and I will teach it. But I'll teach it in private, especially to BurnEye. He deserves it. Dude, bro, if you want to be an alchemist, hit me up.
But from my understanding, the Catholic religion helped us survive crazy times in the medieval times, so it has a great credibility. The Masons, they just started in the 18th century, something like that, or 19th century. So, and all they do is they do the opposite of the Catholic religion. All the sins, the capital sins.
Masons are okay. If you were to go to a judo class, okay, and you start off as a white belt, and you're trying to learn karate. When you go there, you're going to be a white belt starting off, right? That's a Mason.
Yeah.
Now, when you start to get green belt and stuff, you're a Rosicrucian, and it's on that ladder of Masonry itself. If you study the hierarchy, the higher you go into Masonry, the more you go into.
Talking about how you want to free the world and you're sick of the hierarchy of algorithms, but then you're preaching the born into hierarchy of secret societies.
What do you mean? I lost you. I'm sorry. I'm trying to follow.
Never mind. How about what we're looking at on screen? Do you know much about this here table of the
Scottish Rite straight dope? Yeah, Scottish Rite. I actually love those guys. Thank you, straight dope. I'm sorry. Yeah, the hierarchy, like I said, if you start off as a Mason, it's probably about high 20 degree, and then you convert into Rosicrucianism. Like I'm saying, I will teach you Rosicrucianism as a you don't have to go to the dojo and start as a white belt. I'll give you a green belt. You know what I mean?
Is it linked to the Bilderberg group?
Yes.
No.
Not Rosi.
Now, let me ask some basic questions here. As far as the usefulness of learning an organized hierarchical style alchemy.
Is that Jeremiah?
Yeah, that's
Jeremiah. Dude, I'm a fan, man.
I'm just going to go for a quick smoke. I'll be right
awesome,
back.
thanks.
Yeah,
so I wanted to ask you about the different approaches, because for me, alchemy is about practice. It's not about memorization or learning the traditions. It's not about ritual either, although self-ritual is extremely important to gain the mindset necessary for making the right observations while you're actually conducting an experiment or executing on an alchemical process. These things, I think, go without saying that for just about any high-level intellectual activity, you must know at least how to calm your mind and get into that right flow state. So just we're starting as a given. The traditional or ritualistic alchemy, like what you're talking about here, can certainly give that to you. But I wanted to know if you've considered
if I may,
Yeah.
there's
may.
two paths of alchemy, a dry and a wet path, and the dry path is the easiest.
Can you describe the difference between them for all of our listeners?
I guess modern terms, the wet path would be chemistry. The dry path would be something me and Sean are working on.
So the dry path is more about the alchemy of transmutation of spirit or self.
Well, there's also spiritual alchemy, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about true materialistic alchemy, not spiritual alchemy.
So in your methodology, then, from what you've learned and practiced, what is the actual mechanism of transmutation for physical materials?
Wouldn't everybody want to know? Would you? I mean, if you're,
I'm not asking you for technical detail specifics
No,
that will
no.
reveal the cause.
I
I'm
can
asking
get-
you for the general concept.
I can give you basics on it, but if you want to go deeper, you have to be an apprentice.
Oh, I don't necessarily need to go deeper. I'm just asking you for a
What is
basic
that
summary, which you should certainly be able to provide.
Yeah, that's
no
cool.
problem.
Okay, take for instance the table of elements on the atomic masses. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what if you mixed something in a thermite reaction on a dry path?
That is certainly one way to do it. You can extract the thermal
That's
energy.
the dry
from-
path.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's all I can say at this point. But you get what I'm saying there, right?
I do. And there's a similar system, called, a dry method that
The dry path is the easiest.
I've got a slightly more technological approach to the dry method that you might be interested to hear about. And it doesn't involve the use of saltpeter or anything else to catalyze the reaction for thermite or other oxidizing metal reactions.
Yeah, you could probably teach me. Like I
could, and I'd be glad to teach you and everybody else and share freely because
dude,
all of
I'm
my
open.
discoveries
I'm
are my
open.
own.
You know, I just want to be honest, but there's certain things.
Well, this one will really twist your
It's a
nipples.
national security issue where you could just make your own gold.
Yes,
Like,
that is a national security issue
What
and a
I
severe
say
threat
though,
to the
if
economy.
you're going to be an apprentice and you make gold and you sell it,
you cannot.
You're damned to hell.
You cannot.
Okay? So you can make it and you can give it away, but you can't.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody that's got dollar
first
signs in
thing
their
as an
eyes thinking they're
apprentice
going to
you
get
have
rich.
to understand.
Right.
You know.
For example, I need platinum, palladium, and a variety of other rare elements in my experimentation, and those metals are obtrusively expensive, and so that's a real problem. So for my purposes, I will be making gold not to sell or to profit off of, or to make things that are ornamental or don't serve a function, but specifically for application within my experiments in gravity research.
That's honorable, and that's something as somebody, if they want to be my apprentice, that I would say I would teach them further. But
right, and as a fellow alchemist, I'd also say the reason for why I've had such good success in alchemy is because my approach, like that, which I've just described, I think is in alignment with source. And therefore, I'm gifted quite often these incredible downloads where I just simply understand how to do something.
As soon as you use alchemy to be selfish, you're gonna be damned. I'll tell you.
Like, also, it won't work, as I found out in the past.
You'll be damned, though. Serious, honest to God, if you use this for selfless, for experimentation, it's great.
I just want to say there is redemption. And you also know about that. The process of redemption is far harder than the process of actually,
I'm just saying, the first step as an apprentice, I have to know that they're not using this for selfishry.
Right, absolutely. You have to start out with that. The motives have to be pure and very well known. The person should not go into alchemy because they're curious. It's not something that you start out with as a basic curiosity.
If your goal is being selfish, I'll smell it and I'll be like, nah, I'm not going to tell you any further.
Yeah, I mean, even you yourself have some things to work on that front because, you kind of came across as a little bit, I guess, supposedly egotistical. And I mean that by offense, but
yeah, I was just being the devil's advocate. Sometimes, I just reach a crescendo.
Well, would you like to know about what I call the transmutation oven method?
Oven.
Cool. Very critical. Okay, so you know how in the thermite type reaction transmutations, you are stealing the thermal energy and the fine scale interactions of conversion because there's so much heat and transference activity there. You can extract some of that in order to rip the electron shells off of atoms of your choice metal and use then the thermal Brownian motion to slam those bare or exposed nuclei into each other, then fusing them or
know,
breaking off smaller pieces. So
there's been people that use microwaves on similar things.
yes, and that's where I was going. So the oven method, you start out with just the plain element that you want to convert, and so you have to do your table work and figure out which element is going to most readily move through its several stages and end up in the stage that you need. Each of those elements has a resonant frequency which is dynamically based on temperature, and almost all of them are within the triple digit kilohertz up to the low megahertz range. And you have to have a variable transmission source, which you can buy. There's amps on eBay that can do it.
With BurnEye here, like if this is true, it shouldn't be disclosed on public platform.
Actually, I think it should be disclosed on public platform.
You think? Well,
absolutely. Because I did not give this from insider knowledge.
With my nose, I'm gonna say it's bullshit. But
that's fine. You can say whatever you'd like. But I'm gonna release the method anyways. So here's how you set it up. You blast the EM field from your microwave source in through the side, tangential to the gravitational axes. It's important that you inject it from that angle, because gravity is going to be a key player here. With the presence of gravity, then you also heat the oven up so that at an exact temperature, somewhere between, let's say, 500 and 700, if I was trying to turn aluminum into iron, I want to get it somewhere in that range, and I would have to be dead on and hold it within 0.5 degrees Celsius at exactly the right temperature so that I could tune in my 6 to 7 digit frequency and keep it within plus or minus 5 hertz. So precision here is ultra critical. The process can take several hours, up to more than a day, given that you have about 1 kilowatt of input, and it will take much longer with less power.
That I have learned are different, and that may work, and it's cool that you're disclosing it, but the methods I know I can't disclose unless you're an apprentice.
That's fine. Like I said, you're talking traditional methods or ritualistic methods that are guarded and kept well secret. It took somebody sometimes lifetimes to develop.
Some greedy person that uses it for the wrong,
Yes, I agree with your approach because it is so much, it's so much more involved than what I've described. My machine is something that you'd find on a Star Trek type of ship where you can just pump in whatever element you want to retrieve, and then you just freeload the source element that you're going to convert, right? And then you're just using power, basically electricity, to
like
do
a
that process. Okay, in a similar way. I mean, the replicator literally synthesizes matter from light, as opposed to in this system, you're actually starting out with like a bulk mass pure element that you're going to use as the primer to convert into another element.
I will say one thing. I was talking with Brandon earlier, Cote in chat. Like, he's so smart, but we were talking about Laban. Have you heard of him with the Evolution of Matter? It was a banned book.
No, never have.
Yeah.
That
name's familiar.
I know Mike would. I knew Mike would. Mike's done a lot of research. Laban has a book that was suppressed. It's hard to find. I have the PDF. I sent Brandon a link, but he discloses in that book how to take just natural things, combine them, and it's radioactive.
Ho, 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 ho. Okay, well, you got my attention with that last word there.
You know who started that?
He's got everybody's attention now.
You said the R word. That's immediately like a huge area of research for me. I have a bunch of fun radioactive elements.
Hey, you want disclosure? I'll give it to you, but I can't disclose too much. You got to understand that.
I do want that title of the book, if you don't mind. If you don't mind just pumping that in the private chat there, and that way I can go and check that out.
If I just say it so that everybody could, LE and then space BON, Laban, and then it's Evolution of Matter, and this was I'm
on a cell phone. If anybody here wants to search that and give me a link, that would be severely more convenient for me, honestly, because I can't do both at once this show and look it up.
we have
If you
to
can't find
stress
it,
that-
I'll send it to you. Just hit me up and I'll send it to you.
I mean,
We have
I
to-
can't find it while I'm on the phone right now, so I would have to
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
this all the way to the end of the stream, which is why I'm asking now before
Or
I
watch
forget.
again, you know. Or
I'm gonna
watch.
forget, dude. I'm gonna forget, and I don't have to search.
Just
I'm
watch
very busy, so please do me this
Yeah.
little convenience, man, who already knows everything about it.
But
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, but I didn't actually catch your name.
Jarvis.
Jarvis. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we have to stress too, like radioactive stuff. Please take precaution if you're going to dabble with this stuff, because you don't want to
Fair
mess
point.
around with radioactivity.
Yeah, I would say the words dabble and radioactive really never belong together under any circumstances.
Exactly.
Yeah, I spend way too much time around radioactive material. Just be careful, guys.
This actually started with the Swedish stone. You know about that, right?
Yeah, the Swedish stone. Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, do you know what element the Swedish stone was?
This is related. Yeah.
Oh, I see. He did something to it.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that would
that's why
certainly explain
that's
a
why I
lot.
was experimenting with diatomaceous earth.
Yeah, I played with that too. I didn't really get very far with it though because I didn't know then what I know now. I suppose if I revisited it, that still might be a very good possibility, but there are some things in diatomaceous earth that need to be removed in order to really help the process, and I never found a good way to separate that stuff out. I guess I could balance it with
What's really
a
cool
salt.
about diatomaceous earth is it's actually one of the only silicon-based life forms. Other than us, we're carbon-based. And they look like little snowflakes. When you zoom in, they look like little UFOs and snowflakes, but they're a silicon-based membrane. Like our membranes are carbon-based, and they're a silicon-based life form. And it's the only silicon-based life form that we know of on Earth. And they do have special properties, but it doesn't.
They do. Actually, they have in my area of research, they have gravitational properties that are quite unusual and unique as well. So that's also something that people should keep in mind.
We'll talk, man.
Yeah, I would love to talk with you about the combination of alchemical practices and the control of gravity, which is primarily what my area of research is and what I do pretty much full time.
Hey, man, if you prove yourself to be a non-selfish person, I'll teach you all you want, man.
Well, the gentleman on the show today, I believe, can vet for me at least to some extent in respect to that.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it.
Jeremiah's done some really good research and had put out some really good videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, my whole thing is about freely sharing, but I will tell you this. If I say, and I give you my word that I will not share something, anybody who knows me will tell you it is virtually impossible to extract even the tiniest clue or tidbit of information from me once I've made an agreement with somebody in good faith to not do so. So I am definitely very much for keeping secrets.
Realize by literally disclosing something like that could
kill me. Oh, I understand that there are actually real world consequences as well, but quite frankly, the worst consequence would be my word is no longer good. And if that's the case, then we have a serious problem. Now, I've screwed up in the past, and
but
I have no intention of ever going back there.
I'm telling you, it's not just your word,
Well, that would be the biggest impact
that is
to me.
Why I did not swear my soul to the privacy of the initiated and have taken the path.
You don't have to swear your soul with Rosicrucians, bro. You're not swearing your soul away or anything. It's not what you're thinking, man.
Yeah, Rosicrucian is a whole lot less nasty than the Masons, if you're wondering.
Like I said, you start off as a green belt, bro. You just skip all that bullshit.
I've read some of their secret documents too, and let me tell you, they are not afraid to go into extraordinary technical detail to the nth degree, including every single time code that you would need to know about how long things should be running for, what time of year is best to run it, and the temperature ranges that it must be kept at, exactly when to add what and how long to stir it for, and exactly what the transmutation process looks like. It'll go through the green lion and everything else, and it'll show you this rainbow effect. They describe it in such beautiful detail, man.
They go down to the detail of the color of the fire for the furnace.
Yes, they get into everything that you could possibly imagine being observable. You are there when you read it, man. It's awesome.
Dude, and I was just born into it, you know what I mean? So,
I
will share it, but I just can't do it publicly.
Well, at the end of the show, Yeah, you and I and Bernie can talk about our motives
Yeah,
and
yeah.
determine
Which
whether or
we
not
are now
Bernie, come
moving.
on, man.
you know.
Bernie,
We
you-
gotta end the stream, Mike. Right at under
Well,
the
we could
2 hour
go.
mark.
We could go another 15 minutes. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine as long as we keep the conversation rolling in the right direction.
Do you guys do Facebook?
I have a Facebook page.
We try to
you know,
avoid it, but we technically can.
We are streaming to Facebook right now. Yeah. Don't really use it as much.
Well, we love the Facebook audience, but we do not like the platform.
All right. Well, Bernie, if you want to know,
Understandable.
reach out to me, and if
yeah,
you want
stay on after the show ends when it's private, and would love to learn what you're willing to share. And yeah, it's one of the reasons I usually open up with a discretion when covering ancient alchemical texts, that there's a warning written before that you must give this information to your sovereign, to your monarch, to your king or your state, and if you share it publicly, it is punishable by death. But now we are in the age of information sharing and the age of disclosure, where it should all be made public for those
You
that
can't
are able
disclose
to
this
use it.
publicly. I mean, if
Well,
you
yes, because it's for those that have a good intent to help humanity evolve, and that,
Just-
like we've
yeah,
all
I'm
stated,
sorry.
when you have a
just
negative
excluded it.
intent,
Sorry,
the
you just
majority of it
excluded
will
yourself.
not work.
Okay,
Sorry.
I do agree. I'll agree with you on the Rosicrucian stuff that should not be disclosed publicly, and there are very good reasons for why I feel that way about those documents and
That's
that
just the way
teaching.
it is. And if I think you're going to disclose it, I'm not going to tell you. Why would I?
Yes, I have not disclosed the methodology I've learned from the Rosicrucians to anyone ever for any reason. So regardless of whether people know that I know it, it's not like I'm an expert or anything on that. I know 3 different documents, and of those 3, I've done my due diligence to try my best to memorize them and completely comprehend them. Although I will say I have not actually tried the methods in any of the 3.
Could you
But
please
they won't be
give
disclosed.
Straight Dope a link?
Can I what?
I want to talk with Straight Dope about this. Yeah, Joe Fuchs?
I can't send you what I have.
No. I was talking to Mike. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Joe Fuchs was asking for a link to talk. Yeah, because Joe Fuchs,
I just posted the link again in the live chat. Anybody is free to join. It's an open discussion.
All right, I'm sorry, Bernie. You're disqualified. Anybody that's going to disclose it is not a good apprentice. I mean,
Jeremiah.
Yes.
I just want your take on my graphene, what I've been working on.
I would like to talk with you privately and make that good faith agreement about not disclosing what your stuff is, because I think I can help you a lot with your process and even beyond where you've gotten so far. I have the equipment to do a test batch for material that you would otherwise have to invest much more heavily in to make. And I think that, I can use very similar, method to what you're doing with, it's acetone, right, that you're using?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so you're using the acetone method from, I forget what that guy, Murray. His method?
Robert Murray, yeah.
Yeah, you're using, he had a good method. It's awesome because you don't have to have a crazy powerful sonic bath. You do have to have one that's reasonably powerful. Like you can't do it with a jewelry cleaner and expect any kind of decent results. But if at least you have a scientific, 100 to 200 watt bath, then it does work. It just takes a long time.
Yeah, well, I've been hitting mine for about on and off for about a week now. So I've got it down to 100 ohms per centimeter. So far, so good.
Yeah, that's the other thing I want to talk with you about privately, is specifically like how you're doing your resistance testing, because I can use your method and then test it on the stuff that I have. I already have 4 to 8 micron graphene or graphite platelets, and they're easily convertible to graphene, and they'll slice off. So you end up with a lot of, very tiny platelets because they're 3-dimensional shapes, and the widest ones in the center, those are going to be your biggest platelets, but the particles are already small. Nevertheless, I have fairly low resistance. Like I've gotten less than 100 ohms already in my testing per centimeter. But if you have a better way to do that, then I'll just replicate yours and I'll tell you what my results are versus the bath method and this other method, and then we can cross compare, because right now your cells, you have the power density, right? But you don't have the low internal resistance, which is going to be the critical factor for you to actually be able to rapid charge and get the energy into and out of those batteries without heating. So you solve that ESR problem, and all of a sudden, like, you're commercial.
See, the batteries I have, you don't need to charge them.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. But it will be really nice to be able to get that energy out of there more efficiently.
Yeah.
There's no need to heat the batteries, right?
No. Like the graphite material that I'm using for the cells actually are used for cooling off nuclear reactors.
So where are you sourcing that from?
My partner that I'm working with, he knows the Canadian distributor of that material. So we get it directly from the distributor. And
wow.
Yes.
I'll have to try and get some contact information for that, or probably it's going to be, I understand it's not cheap, but with the work that I'm doing, not cheap is justifiable if it's going to be the type of material that will give me superior results. And in this case, I really do need them.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. My internal resistance of my batteries is less than 1 ohm.
Shit! That deserves a pat on the back or a high five or something.
Yeah. So I'm working with the graphene. I have some ideas for protection for the sacrificial cathode. So, yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
And what are you using for your cathode right now?
Using magnesium.
Oh, yeah. Have you tried tungsten though, or no?
No, I haven't tried that.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Try tungsten or try palladium.
Big bucks.
Not if you just get something that's palladium coated. That might be more than enough. You can also do platinum coated. Platinum is going to be another extremely good metal that will probably be non-reactive, and you can just wipe it off when you're done.
Wake up, Phil.
Yeah, Phil.
Yeah, Phil, get some sleep, buddy. You can go. Don't have to feel bad.
Yeah, Phil, you got a presentation to do.
Was he snoring again?
He's probably just sitting there like dreaming about all the crazy crap we're talking. Maybe he was having interesting dreams and we shouldn't have disrupted him, right?
Need a pillow.
Who was that? I think I heard the voice of Nathan saying, "Phil, wake up!"
Yeah. Next time this happens, let's have a little fun with it. Like I'll just say real quietly, like, Phil, this is your long lost relative calling. Can you hear me?
No, that's just creepy. You gotta just give them the straight goods.
Phil, make sure your trays are upright and your seatbelts are on. We're about to take off for flight.
That would have been way better. I like yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna put on Ben's glasses. You know, the glasses with eyes on it. So,
and if you look 43.5 degrees to your upper right, you can see the land of dream. We will quickly be arriving.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Been a minute since I've been on this show.
Sir.
This is a weird show. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Joe Fuchsius, what's up?
Right.
And you didn't see the little Jay? What's up,
Hey,
everybody?
me and Brandon, we
got everybody here tonight.
On Old Man Bill's song. Like, could you sing
Nathan's the only one missing, right?
He's still feeling under the weather. I dragged my ass out of bed so I could participate in this conversation because it was going deep. I was like, got my boxing gloves on the whole night.
Dude, you got to sing a live song with me and Brandon going on Old Man Bill's song.
We'll get together.
All right.
I mean, you'll probably regret it, but yeah, I'm down.
You can do it.
If it makes me laugh, it's worth it.
You've been in music, right?
Been a little bit, but yeah.
Didn't you do did you play an instrument or did you do lyrics?
I play bass, yeah.
Bass? Cool. All right. Yeah, dude, we need a bass. We don't need a lyricist, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna wake up early tomorrow morning, so I'll let you go. I'll leave the spot for somebody else. But you guys don't miss next week's Mike Faraday show because we're gonna have a pretty cool experiment done by next week. So cheers, guys.
Nice.
And maybe you can
Thank you, Phil.
present on the APEC
Yeah.
open mic too, Phil.
Very
Coming up after that.
Sure. All
Yeah,
right,
because now
take it
it's
easy.
private, right? So now it's totally private and it's not recorded. So you could actually like get into some of the deets.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah,
They
sounds good.
They don't
Good
do
night.
live anymore. See if
No, we're not doing live. We're not doing the live Q&A sessions. We've made those private again, like they used to be. Because what would happen is we do the main APEC shows, and then after that we would shut everything down, stop recording, and then we'd have this sort of private after party, and that's when all the really good juicy stuff came out. Everybody that had something serious to contribute, like deep secrets, would wait until that point to start talking about them. So we took off of the recording, and all of a sudden everybody started opening up because they don't have to worry about the public, investors or anybody else that's looking at them to see if their personal views that are maybe more controversial align with the company motives. And it just opened up everything back again to being the more free flowing, engineering minded, fast processed show that we originally wanted. But we still do the APEC monthly that is public. And so that's when people want to get on and actually show something for potential investors, or they're looking for angel capital or that kind of thing. They just want to share their ideas with the world and like find out what the community thinks. We still do that monthly.
May I ask who performed the vacuum TT Brown experiment?
Myself, Mark, and a few other people. I believe that was Charlie C brought those thrusters in. Mark also had a set. They were originally made by a guy named Nam Tran in Vietnam. He's one of our affiliate labs out there, and he builds very nice test apparatus and assemblies. So we tested it with his, rotator. What are they? With his rotational pendulum and his thrusters, and then we used our own power supply.
Dude, that's a huge achievement. I want to say
not really, because there were
think
issues
it is.
with it.
Like if you could prove that in a vacuum that there is still force, that's pretty big to me. But
unfortunately, the experiment was riddled with huge contributing erroneous factors. Like for example, there was plasma, there was other ionization, there was particle ejection, and there was a magnetic field present above the apparatus that was being used to suspend it and reduce friction. But the presence of that magnetic field, because we actually had charged particle flow, would also produce Lorentz forces, which, in my opinion, invalidate any proof of the effect. So in order to fix this, the carousel has to be completely rebuilt so that it can operate without the magnetic field. And then in addition to that, the test modules or the thrusters themselves need to be bagged or encapsulated inside of something so that even if there's vacuum inside there, we can have like a little flap one-way valve.
All right, if you had to bet $1,000 that TT Brown was right, and there was
I don't have to bet on that. I've already replicated some of TT Brown stuff, and I can tell you that it was. I'm just saying that particular iteration and demonstration of the experiment was not.
Yeah, there's always
with
some
TT Brown
that you could do better, but like your hunch, do you feel
like I said, I've already successfully replicated TT Brown. I don't have to have a hunch. I know.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's all I'm getting at, because there's always going to be a little leakage of air or whatever, magnetic field orientation.
Not always, not if you have a better test setup. We know how to fix the problems that we had in that, and we can actually prove it now. We just have to do it. So that means me getting on a plane and going out to Jersey and actually setting it up.
I think that was really cool. When I saw that, I was like,
just wait till we do it properly, man.
Yeah.
Then we're going to really have some damning results.
But you've already done it damn well.
Not well enough. I'm a calibration technician, bro. That stuff matters to me. Measurement is like my thing. So, and the way that we took the way that we did that experiment, it just was riddled with too many errors for me. It would never pass scientific scrutiny in peer review.
Jeremiah's gonna tune in, literally.
Yep.
That's awesome.
But you would be willing to bet $1,000 that when everything's tuned up and you can eliminate all those factors.
I would be. I've spent far more than that researching it and replicating it. And Jesse Michaels was willing to bet $50,000 on it, which, by the way, nobody still has been paid for, but there are reasons for that. And the reasons for that are actually the same ones that I just listed now. They have these problems. Yeah. You have to eliminate that crap.
I would say it has to be, like there's so much cover up on TT Brown, like why? And I would say starting to spin them is going to get a different result too. And I would also say John Hutchinson effect is related.
Yeah, I've talked with John many times, both privately and publicly in interviews, and John's a pretty great guy. He's one of my childhood heroes. So I can tell you when it was like 23 years later, and I actually had a chance to start setting up conferences with him and get the inside deets. It was a real freaking eye opener and a hell of a thing to do. You know, it's like, oh, one of my heroes that's still alive and hasn't been killed by the fucking powers that ought not be.
I think Charlie and Sean are good friends, and Charlie's really cool too. And I like Charlie. And
Charlie C?
Yeah, he's cool. I like Charlie. Yeah, but I think, you know, everybody involved in this whole group like can contribute something to making something awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the reason why we put together APEC in the first place. It's why we started the conference, was so people like Charlie and people like myself and you would have a place to show their experiments and talk about their ideas when nobody else would listen from academia or these government funded seminars.
You were trying to get that. Putting that together?
I'm one of the founders, dude.
Wow.
Our 4 founders are Mark Sokol, myself, Jeremy Riss, and Tim Ventura.
Okay.
Mark picked Tim as the mod. It was a great idea because he is the best mod we could have ever asked for in this, especially considering that he already had over 20 years of experience with anti-gravity and seeing this community and knew most of the people already. So he had contacts and information to get some really like the best of the best presenters, people from NASA, people from DARPA. I mean, the people that we got in there, some of my other personal heroes like Richard Van Durek just came flooding in as soon as we had established ourselves as a reputable conference and laid down some ground rules to stop some of the BS.
Like a little drone that can be controlled with a smartphone and go to the moon, I think we could do that. Like, I'm not saying like I would get into a craft and be able to go into outer space kind of thing. That's like,
well, that's our plan.
Yeah,
We want to start with microsats.
You just wanted to start with a drone where you could like control it with your phone.
Oh yeah, that's like the first place that everybody's mind goes to with anti-gravity is, hey, let's do an anti-grav drone.
Why not? Just to start as a proof of concept.
All right, I'm going to be the dick that says it. I'm not going in any sort of, like spaceship into outer space or anything like that, but I'll jump through a portal. Then I realize I already have.
Bro, I am so behind Stargate technology. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you actually offered me the choice between whether I wanted a spaceship or I wanted a Stargate, I'd pick Stargate.
Yeah, it just makes like the whole spaceship thing seem obsolete real quick.
It sure does.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta leapfrog your own self.
Yeah, but the dialing sequence would have to be a whole lot more complex.
Fair enough. Then again, and this is what I try to bring to the table in terms of this stuff. Like, when you do like deep meditative practices and stuff, I fail to see the difference sometimes. Like
sometimes it's similar. I believe our body is a holy temple, but that's a different topic.
I completely agree with that too.
By the way,
I consider it to be fundamental.
Work with anti-gravity craft because you can't communicate with the drone with standard RF.
Well, no, there's a way. It wouldn't be a smartphone, Mike. But
I think this is crazy, but I'll just put it out there. I felt like I astral projected and met you probably about a month ago,
Mike.
And I don't know if you remember or not, but that's what I felt like, because you can do it, but I felt like I astral projected and we had a conversation. Do you remember it?
Me?
Yeah.
Negative, sir. We'll try again.
You're good at tuning into it, though.
I am good at tuning into it. It's a thing. We'll talk. We could talk about that amongst ourselves too. I don't want to make myself sound like a nut job on the internet.
I put it out there. I'm the nut job. It's okay though. It's fine.
So for the technicians out there, how would you communicate with the drone that's running AG frequencies with a standard RF?
You don't. With a standard RF. If you have that technology, you're also using the same gravitational technology as a communication device, and the entire hull of your ship is the antenna. You have seamless.
I say it would have to be.
You have seamless, instantaneous communication. It's not quantum. It operates by a fundamentally different mechanism, but it is a seamless, instantaneous, direct access to control, and it would not be operated on a smartphone. This would link directly with your thoughts.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got AG craft,
you would be the
do,
craft.
What's it called?
Yep.
Quantum entanglement with the device outside the craft controlling it.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the superior thing. But it's cool for people to just see something levitate anyways, you know? And we'll get there where we understand our spirit good enough in the future. But, I mean, people think you're crazy if you say you astral project in the first place.
Well, no, not so much anymore, that much.
Those are just the ones that haven't astral projected themselves yet.
I think people would believe more so that there's an anti-gravity craft than astral projecting at this point.
Yeah, into the comment that was just posted up. So electric fields that modify epsilon, or the space-time permeativity, and magnetic fields, which modify mu, the space-time permeability, are only two sides or two legs of a triad. And to get the gravitational component, you have to have the third.
Yeah.
So to actually simulate that, you have to cross electric and magnetic fields in such a way that
there was. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. That they do not cancel, but they compound. See, here's the thing: you can't have a torsion in the J-curl tensor occupying the same exact space as an electric dipolar polarization of the vacuum without affecting epsilon and mu simultaneously, which then modifies big G, the gravitational constant, and modifies the fine structure constant to that local space. And so by that, you can get an amplified effect where the electromagnetic fields now are traveling slower than light, and as a result can build up to an incredibly high amplitudes in a very small volume.
Isn't the magnetic and the electric out of phase?
Basics of the paper that I wrote.
In this case, they actually need to be completely in phase. But the angles of the waveforms are critical.
Our energy electric is 90 degrees out of phase. The magnetic.
Yes, in this, but if you want gravity, they need to be in phase.
If you want AG, they need to be in phase.
If you want AG, they need to be 180 out of phase.
180 out of phase, not 90.
Not 90.
All I'll say is the gravitational constant is not constant.
Nope, there are no constants that are constant at all.
And once you can take that gravitational constant down, all the constants are not constant.
Well, the thing is, if you modify one
limited range, like
it's all built on the
180 makes sense.
Principle. It's either or. You can't have both. Either or.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. You got the one space time to work with, and if you change anything, it changes everything else.
But they're not constant. There's fluctuation in all the constants. You know what I mean? But there's so minute fluctuations that we could call them constants. But
normally, under normal circumstances, it's very minute. But in these types of systems, which are compound parametric alternating systems, the parametric aspect of them is highly nonlinear, and you can quickly see yourself surpassing the logarithmic curve of response as you input more energy and quickly get into the hyperbolic response where you start to access hyperspace energy and various things like that. It's just that the pathway there is not yet quite well understood, but I could explain it if anybody wanted all the technical details of it.
I based my gravitational constant on the Gaussian gravitational constant, and Newton's gravitational constant's static quantity, no time involved. Okay.
I base mine on the local energy contents of the stress energy momentum tensor.
Well, if I may say, I base it off of Gauss, and it was like Gauss's gravitational constant is the square root of Newton's.
Yeah, but Gauss is only one leg of the three for the triad, and you still need to account for the other two if you really want to control gravity. You have to modify two at once in the same direction to derive the third.
You're kind of cutting me off before the point.
All right, get there.
All right, so Gauss's constant is the square root of Newton's constant, okay? And it's time dependent. It was dropped as a constant in 2014 because the distance and the time of a planet circling the sun is variable. So it's a constant that was dropped as a constant, and it's just equal to the square root of Newton's constant, which means that Newton's constant is not constant.
That's right.
Whenever you have time involved in distance, it's
because of the sun and the orbit thing, right? Same reason.
Constant.
No, nothing can be constant because everything is moving.
It's very simple.
Or everything is vibrating or whatever.
They'll call it constant, but it's very slight alterations over extended periods of time. Like it takes millions of years to see if there is an up and down motion of a star throughout the galaxy's orbit, and it's like millions of years.
Yeah, well, with this kind of technology, you can just go right there and check it.
Only light is constant.
Yeah, mine's related though, and it is. I'm just saying mine's related on a very easy algebraic kind of thing, like without tensors.
Only light is constant in the whole thing of all the discoveries. Only light, the frequency of light is constant.
It depends
I
on
would
the
disagree
medium.
with that.
It depends on what medium is traveling.
Not gauze, nothing else. Not gauze, nothing. Only light.
It depends on the medium. In a vacuum.
Well, right. Yeah, I guess the medium. I mean, but the frequency of that light has not changed in the medium. What has changed is the refraction, the angle, reflection.
The stress energy momentum tensor.
The tensor, and like tensors are.
Well, how does that change the frequency of light, though? It just changes the refraction.
It changes the frequency of light by changing the space-time density.
The light is still going to vibrate at the same rate. It's not going to change.
From its frame of reference, it will vibrate from the same rate. From the external observer's frame of reference, it will change frequency. It'll redshift or blue shift.
Due to the refraction. I agree.
I think it's very easy and not this
complicated. But that's only because of the refraction. If the refraction is corrected, so is the frequency of light.
All right, let me say one thing.
Just like a lens, you can reshape what you're seeing again.
Let me say one thing.
Yes, but in this case, this is a different kind of lens. This lens doesn't reshape or change the angle of the light. What it actually does is slow it down.
The light going through the lens is light.
Well, in this, okay. So imagine a lens with no physical matter as the lens. Imagine you're just using pure energy as the lens. That's what I'm referring to here. There is no physical matter.
That's pure energy. That's a different.
No, you're still sending light through it. You're still sending light through your space-time metric engineered lens. It's just simply not made of a physical material, but you can do all the stuff that you can do with a lens using it, but you can also do stuff that you cannot do with a lens, like, say, actually shift the wavelength of that light and take energy from it or add energy to it.
May I say one thing, okay? Like, you take the speed of a planet around the sun, okay?
Right.
And you zoom out to the size of the solar system, it's going to be traveling faster in that frame. And then you zoom out to the size of a galaxy, and it's going to even be traveling faster. And you zoom out to the size of where it's a plasma cosmology, and it's going to be traveling fast as hell.
Right. From your frame of reference, it'll just continue like it's getting faster and faster and faster as you get out of its field.
The time is dependent on the volume of your frame of reference in that
Right,
point.
Exactly. That's the same reason why we can explain away very easily without inciting dark matter why galaxies seem to be rotating so much faster. That's absolutely right.
Gravity boils down in the equation.
Mike, I can end the stream on your channel and we can keep it going on mine if you gotta leave.
That's up to you. If you want to carry on, that's fine.
Mike, I'm almost done with
end it on yours right now.
Taking this to apart to see how does it really run.
Right
I took the casing out, but it still works if I just touch the two ends. Look.
Well, what is that thing?
I think it's
all the problems.
It has no power source.
That's so cool.
Wait, that has no power source? What?
No, it works by human energy. So
body capacitance, baby.
Nice.
What
really?
the heck? Wait. Can you full screen her again, Bernie? I want to see this closer again. I didn't see it the first time. Can you show that thing in really close to the camera so I can see like all sides of the physical module, not the lights?
Okay, so
but just you don't have to have it lighten up. Just show me the module itself. I want to take a look at what's.
I just gotta say that's cool.
Okay, so let me start. I bought this toy from the Natural Science Museum. It's a kid's toy that said that it does not require batteries and it runs off of human energy. And it's called the Sci-Fi Tube. Cool, right?
Oh my gosh, link me to that. I want to buy one.
It's the Natural Science Museum. Like like any museum that you go to. But I could go. I want to go back because now I took this apart, but I still like it. I still like the toy.
Can you hold it up to your camera so I can see what's inside? Yeah. I don't want to see the lights. I want to see the physical thing that's putting the power out. I want to see it from both sides real closely.
Looks like a buzzer.
Yeah, it looks like a piezo buzzard.
Yeah, it looks like a piezo buzzer. Now let me see the other side.
Okay.
And now let me see it from the side. Okay, that big yellow thing is the power source. We got to figure out what that is.
I'm trying to dig that out.
I think it's a
I've been
coil.
trying to dig that out, like trying to.
I think it's a coil.
I don't know.
It could be a coil.
I think it's a form of battery.
It's a battery.
You know, it would be sad if it's a battery because
I
the
was now for a second, like,
packaging
what?
it says
It's a
it's
piezo
no
buzzer.
batteries.
Do you have a multimeter?
Probably a coil.
It's broken.
It's broken. Oh.
Anyways, guys,
It came out.
All right.
Later,
Mike.
I'll end it on your channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Does it
Mike,
say a voltage on it?
and on mine?
Look on the front, the shiny
Yeah.
side.
So
There we
thanks a
go.
lot. Hold on a sec, guys.
Are we
yeah.
shifting to burn? Let's do the
Yeah.
burn, man.
We don't have to switch anything. It'll keep streaming on my channels. It'll just stop on Mike's is all.
Right.
All right.
So, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. We go live to air next Friday at 9:00 Eastern. Chat, you were fantastic. Thanks a lot. And Bernie and the guys, everybody have a great night, and we'll see everybody next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Later, Mike, and everyone in Mike's audience.
Thank you, Pat.
Have a good
Take
night.
care.
Thank you,
Take care.
Pat.
Take care.